Welcome everybody, it's Be Set Free at 3, and we're focusing this time in part 3 of the hidden inner person, as based on 1 Peter 3 verse 5. We heard last time, what is the inner man in part 1? The inner man is your resurrected, new created, resurrected self, resurrected in the very image of Christ himself. Why is he not manifest? Well, most times, he is unrecognized. He is malnourished. Then we also heard last week, part 2, of what are the factors why the hidden inner person is being restricted. And we heard last week it was based on most believers have never been taught that the hidden man exists. And this week we are focusing on maybe the most common and least recognized obstacle, and that is that most believers substitute soul activity they substitute it for spiritual development. In other words, they get involved a lot in mental activity, emotional experiences, strengthening of the will, the discipline in religion, acquiring information. Look, these all have value, but they're not the same as developing the recreated spirit. The mind can be educated about God without the spirit being strengthened in God. The emotions can be stirred in worship, while the inner man remains weak, unfed. And very often the mind can be educated about God, right, without the spirit being strengthened in God. And also the will can be disciplined by religious habits, while the spirit remains unfed. Kenyon, in his great book, speaks about these things as being the mental ascending. That is, agreeing intellectually with the truth without allowing the truth to penetrate the spirit. The result is the believer knows the promises, quotes the promises, agrees with the promises, and they're waiting for the promises to be fulfilled. This is all religious practice. Religion is making that which has happened a process in you realizing it. Now, the promises remain in the head as future orientated rather than becoming realities within the spirit. Are you getting something today? The solution is learning the difference between studying in the Word and feeding on the Word. Studying in the Word and feeding on the Word. Exposing oneself to the Word of truth and meditating about it, speaking it, allows the truth to move from information into revelation, from the mind into the spirit. Then we find that this hidden person becomes nourished and strengthened. Nourished and strengthened. Well, look at it like this. We are in the vine. We've got to drink from the sap of the wine, feeding our spirits with that which is within. Then you'll see the fruit outside. Inside, we drink the sap, which is his presence, which is in the spirit, feeding in the spirit. And then we enjoy the fruits like a grape on the outside of the branch. Anyhow, that's from me today. We'll see you next week for part 4 in this wonderful teaching of how to allow the inner man, the inner person, the created spirit, the Christ-likeness in you being manifest on the outside. Life and peace, life and peace.